Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. And today I'm coming to you from a very sunny Sedona, Arizona. It's also pretty windy too, but I decided to just weather the wind and the shadows so that you could feel this vortex energy here. It's more upper chakra, more crown than I've ever felt before. I really can feel like an electricity in my hair, all along my scalp and crown. So today we're doing a heart video. So the heart and the crown are very similar. It's about this beautiful spiritual energy of acceptance. And this heart video is the fourth in our goddess series. So we're going to look at 3 goddesses that boost and heal your heart chakra. Now the heart is really a goddess place, right? It's the divine feminine that accepts. It's the motherly feminine. So goddesses are natural here. But I'm going to talk about maybe a couple that are a little more obscure because I want to bring out 3 really different areas of the heart chakra. Now your heart chakra, of course, is in your heart center area, so center chest. It is green. It is the air element, so it's light and breezy and accepting. And it is related to compassion, kindness, empathy, gratitude, forgiveness, and healing. It's also related to grief. A lot of people don't realize that grief is one of the most sacred ways that we can each experience the depth of our heart, the soulfulness in our heart, because to lose anything or anyone in this corporal world pulls out this incredible ache that reminds us of how deep our love is, that our love always goes on even if we lose a job, lose a friend, lose a loved one, or a pet, or a hobby, or a part of our health. Whatever it is we're grieving, it brings us into sacred heart space. But we have made grief such a negative thing in the Western world that it's misunderstood. If you want to understand it a little better, I talk about grief, I think, in a really beautiful way in my video on your 5 rights of the heart chakra. So I'll put a link for that below. Okay, so let's look at the goddesses. This one is really, really easy to pick for, sorry about the wind, you guys, to pick for the #1 goddess because it's very easily Quan Yin. Quan Yin is known throughout the world. She came from Asia, China, Korea, I believe, Malaysia. She is popular with Buddhists across the planet, and she is known as a bodhisattva. I hope I said that right, a bodhisattva. And this is a level of being just below a Buddha, okay, a bodhisattva. And Quan Yin is known for her compassion, her mercy, her empathy. There's a myth where she got enlightened and she had the opportunity to go to, I don't know if it's a myth or the story, she had the opportunity to go to heaven, as it were, the other realm. And when she got to the gates of heaven, she heard the cries of the people on earth. She heard their suffering. It's so deeply in her heart that she decided to turn back and go and help them. So for me, Quan Yin is not only just about compassion, like incredible heart compassion, your ability to feel what another's feeling, your ability to relate to those who suffer, but it's also about embodiment. She is about embodiment. She's deeply about embodiment, about this world, not just being loving from here, from afar, like up in the sky looking down at those poor creatures, but rather being loving-hearted with people, empathic. If you follow Jesus, you also can get the same energy from him. Many, many stories in the Bible. And again, I'm not embracing any one religion or one goddess or one way of being. I'm just giving you examples because Jesus has lots and lots of heart chakra energy. If he was a goddess, he'd be on this list. Okay, so Quan Yin, the great thing about Quan Yin is she's so popular as this bodhisattva that takes care of the world and has compassion for the world that many people pray to her. And when there's collective energy, there's a resonance. So your prayers to her, imagine when you do meditation and you do it in a group, and there's this magnification of the energy because you're doing it together. By the sheer popularity of this beautiful bodhisattva, you get your prayers multiplied because you're praying in a pool of many, many people praying, or you're putting intention toward her in a pool of many, many people putting intention toward her. Can you feel that? So she's very, very powerful for you to turn to her with help when either you need compassion, but also if you want her to be a mentor for you to have more compassion. Because in the world right now, we just need more and more heart connection and compassion for each other, for us to overcome the hardships that we're collectively experiencing, and to not make divisions between you or I, but for all of us to deal with all of it together. So you can get murtis, a murti, M-U-R-T-I, a murti is like a statue, right? And you can get little versions or really large versions of this, of Quan Yin, because she's been so revered for so long. There's just, it's like I collect laughing Buddhas. There are many, 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 many murtis of the laughing Buddha, the monk that was the laughing Buddha, and there are many murtis of Quan Yin. So I would recommend that if you resonate with her, if you want to receive more compassion, you want to open your heart chakra more, you want to have more compassion for others, to get a murti, to get some form of statue of Quan Yin and create sort of an altar, because the heart chakra is our center chakra, and when it opens, it just, it gets all over everyone, it gets all over you. It's like the elixir, because the heart chakra is also tied to healing. Okay, so we'll just say Quan Yin, she's like Asian, because she's in comes from many Asian cultures, and she's Buddhist. That's sort of the background, because I pick goddesses that represent different parts of each chakra, different aspects of it, but also from different traditions. The second one, since I just mentioned healing, is Aja, A-J-A, Aja. Aja is an Orisha, and this is like a being, she comes actually from a Nigerian tradition. I'm not sure if I can say it right, but the Yoruba people of Nigeria, a tribe, an area, this is their goddess, and she's connected to the forests and to the animals. And while root chakra connects to that a lot, you may recall that I always put root chakra and my hair, it's crazy. And I put animals and forest, nature, with the heart chakra too. It's the green of the heart chakra. The root, the nature opens the heart, right? Root and safety and being in nature, all that consciousness has created in its purest form opens the heart chakra. So she's tied to nature, and she's a healer. And one of the myths is that she's healed, or not healed, but taught all the healers, or that she's the healer of healers. She also is closely tied, for those native people in Nigeria, to herbal and nature remedies, which feels really, really good to me as we as a culture make our way back to dealing more with nature. Nature has so much healing for us, and getting farther away from the pharmaceuticals that weren't really made to be imbibed by our body, to be taken in and have a lot of side effects. So let's see, what else can I tell you about? Oh, there's a myth that Aja is, she will take travelers when they're going through the woods there. She may take you, and if she takes you, kidnaps you, whatever you want to put whatever term you want to put on it, she actually makes you better. She makes you more well, and when she returns you to your tribe, in Nigeria, then you are much stronger. So you're stronger, you're better. You even have some like superpower type abilities typically, between human and superpower, on the edge of superpower. I also want to mention that Rajah means wild wind, and the heart chakra is the wind or the air chakra. It's air. It's about that easy breezy acceptance. So I love that. So are you a healer? Are you wanting to get more in touch with your healing abilities? Do you want to be more in touch with the healing abilities of nature and in being in communion with animals and with the living beings of this planet? Then Rajah is your goddess to go to for that. Our third heart chakra goddess is Demeter. She's Greek. Ceres is her Roman counterpart, but I don't know that the Roman Greek counterpart works as closely for this, so I'm going to talk about Demeter. Demeter represents mother energy because she was the mother of Persephone, and I'll tell you the story in a moment. But she represents mother energy, and she represents grief. Grief, how grief is tied to our love, our heart, the opening of our heart when we allow it to carry us, when we allow ourselves to really feel our losses. Again, I'm going to point to that video for you, the video on the 5 rights of the heart chakra, so that you can look at grief there. I think it's really, it just worked out the way I explained it in that video, and a lot of people are commenting that they got a new aha around what grief means, because we don't give grief, the heart chakra, what's the word I'm looking for? The heart chakra credibility, the credit it deserves. It's very much about opening the heart. And because our culture teaches us to clamp down our grief and close it, it actually's lost its ecstasy. Like grief, when you can just be deep in it, has almost an ecstatic quality because you're in the love that you have for that person. The myth, and I'm going to do it in a really short version, and there's a whole bunch of different versions, so you don't need to correct mine. You can just add yours if you have a different version. But a basic, very trimmed down version of the myth here is that Demeter, who's the wife of Zeus, okay, the wife of Zeus, had daughter Persephone. And Persephone was out playing. Demeter's also the harvest goddess. She's all about, so once again, we have the green, we have the growing, right? That seems, heart and root are always very, very tied. So because she was like the harvest goddess, her daughter Persephone was out playing outside, and Hades, the god of the underworld, came and took her down into the underworld with him. And Demeter was absolutely destroyed with grief by this. She went down and went looking for her. There's a lot of stories. Some of them, they didn't have her go down. She just went to Zeus. Many of the myths have her actually going down into the underworld, and she doesn't succeed, and she eventually turns to Zeus. But most of the myths tell us that eventually Zeus, the god of all gods, made a deal because Hades actually married Persephone. And because they were all family back then, they married and that's what I'm saying, that's how it was. But Hades actually married Persephone, so eventually Zeus made a deal between Hades and Demeter that they could each have her for 6 months, Persephone. Now, she had her own will, she was her own goddess, her own woman. This makes her sound like she's just an object, but this is the easiest way to explain this, that what came out of this was this harvest idea of Demeter said she would only let the harvest grow, let the gardens grow, or let there be growth when she was with her daughter, when her daughter was there. So the 6 months that her daughter's in the underworld, those are the 6 months off season that we're not usually growing things if you're a farmer or something. So I think that's kind of cool too. So if you want nurturing, empathy, and most of all, mothering energy and getting in touch with your deep loss grief, like really loving the things that you've lost, getting in touch with the sacred side of your grief, which will open your heart in a crazy magnified way, I recommend turning to Demeter, the Greek goddess. Okay guys, those are our 3 goddesses for the heart. I'm sure you have some too. Venus is a big heart goddess, but she has such an intimacy quality, and Aphrodite, who's her counterpart, comes from the sea, so I put her in the sacral, so you'll catch her in the sacral. There are just many others. So of course Mary Magdalene is called a goddess in the goddess cards, and she's all about unconditional love. We would include her too, except that I just did her on a video. We just pulled her card in my energy report for May 2020. You can see that. I'll put the link below for that as well. And officially, she's not really a goddess. Officially, not that I really care about that, because we're just looking for strong archetypal spiritual, just icons, women that we can, goddesses that we can look at to boost these energies within ourselves. So that's it for this week. Next video that we do is going to be on the throat and the 3 goddesses there. I can't wait to do that. That's full of integrity and honor and vision and magic. I love that. So I hope the noise in the background's okay, you guys. Thanks for putting up with this. Can you feel the energy? Let's just feel into this beautiful energy of Sedona before I say goodbye. Place one hand on your heart. Place the other hand on your heart. Breathe in the green and the red, the root and the heart behind me and all around me that you see. And I will see you on the next video. Much love.